Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I hope you are well. We're going to talk about Litecoin. Random prediction, a wild prediction. Where can it go in this potential bear market? So welcome everyone, hope you're good. Obviously on the screen I'm going to show you some stuff. This is more of a lesson-y sort of thing to show you about predictions. I will go through it in full detail. I won't just give you a price and go BAM! I'll give you multiple different scenarios in terms of what can happen. So this will be raw, be me fiddling around with the charts, looking at support and resistance, certain levels, Fibonacci's, etc. I'm currently in a trade right now on Ethereum. Right now I'm expecting it to kind of melt. Entered in here, I'm expecting it to go down here, essentially. So if you do want to follow what trades I kind of do, it looks a bit messy, that chart with all this stuff on there. I'll zoom in, there you go. If you want to kind of follow what I do, there's a link below to learning crypto. You can try it out for free. You can see all my daily analysis where I talk like this to everyone in the world of my platform about certain things, certain trades, any trades that I do. So if you want to follow and learn even more, because you will learn more on there than you will on here, believe it or not, you know, it's kind of cool to get involved. So that's that. Let's go back to Litecoin because I've lost my chart again. Oopsie. Litecoin. Bitfinex, I think it was, boom. So we'll go through a few things. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I'm pretty bearish and I do some random predictions. Now, some of them do come true. I called the one to, 4,400 on Bitcoin from the 1st of March due to the fallout of everything. So we'll do what potential scenarios we have with potential support levels, and we'll also do a bullish scenario as well if you so wish to. Anyways, so first things first. Get your rectangle tool out, go on the weekly time frame and look for the turning points. Obviously there's a 1 right here. This is kind of the obvious one, right? We're going to bung that there just so we can see a certain level. And the reason why I'm saying do this, I'll make that bigger so you can see. Hey, cool. So we're looking at the weekly wicks essentially, and we're going to change the color of this because it makes it a bit more obvious and easy to see things. Now I'm not going to go full tilt on this. I'm just going to put a few little levels in just so you can see some stuffs. Makes it kind of obvious where things are. There's obviously a 1 right there as well, and we'll put 1 in the middle just for good measure, because I don't want to go too, as I say, I don't want to go too deep. There's a 1 right there pretty much, right? Cool. Well, yeah, we'll go there. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm looking at the futures as well. It's crazy right now. Then go to the daily. Ignore these, by the way. You can use these, by the way. Top tip, if you want to learn how to use these, go on hitman.io. There's a link below. That is, again, one of my companies. So it's a good indicator. It's awesome. Check it out. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, daily. Again, we don't want to go too deep on this. We don't want to go too far out. We want to start to see what's happening. Obviously, we've got a level here. Kind of obvious, realistically. Again, you don't want to make it too fat, essentially. You don't want to make it a big, massive pig. Change the colour of this one. I have my purple because I like the colour purple. We're going to look for other levels as well. There's a 1 right here. Try and make it in line so it kind of looks okay. And we're going to add 1 more just for good measure down in these lower levels here. And we're going to put it right where current price action is because there's a bit of a support and resistance here. So yeah, that is all you need, right? Bit of basic structure to understand current price levels, right? These are current price levels. Obviously, we'll look at the long-term game in a minute. But when you start looking at the 4-hour time frame and you're looking for the intraday and intra-week sort of levels, you can kind of read it a bit better like a book. Obviously, on these levels as well, if you so wish to, I do this. An alternative kind of method is on the 4-hour time frame, put a few key levels of structure. This is key level structure. I have mine grey as a horizontal bar. Boom, right across. Cool. There's obviously other levels here, which I would probably mark out there as well. And everything else, I'd probably just leave it. You don't want to be too narrow. You don't want to be too mental, too crazy. Apologies. 330 points down for the morning on the futures in the Dow Jones, which is not going to start off well in the market. So expect some volatility. Anyways, we're looking to find out where can Litecoin go, right, long term. If we start turning around and we start looking a bit bearish, this is the overall structure what we've got on the daily, right? What you tend to do on the daily, you tend to do retracements and corrections, right? one thing that you need to look at first, you need to start drawing other boxes of areas where we can go. A retracement. Okay? Retracement number one, scenario number one is the move. From bottom to the top, where can we go? Well, you've got one box area here as a potential level, or the 618, which Litecoin and a lot of other coins tend to agree with. And again, we're going to change the color of this to ATP1. Cool. So that is one level there. That is $33, which is on key level of structure. That is the first point of call. This could, however, go lower, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because there's all kinds of other support levels here. Now, this is obviously huge. I'm going to reduce the size of that. I'm going to actually turn it up a bit as well to this level here. Make it a bit neater and tidier. Actually, I'm going to change it. Bear with me. Top tip on any sort of cryptocurrency, just to give you an idea. Key psychological levels are usually round numbers. So if I just make that about the $30 region, right? That is a key psychological level. So anyways, we've got that as a potential target. Looking at basically the retracement of this move. But we want to look a bit deeper than that. Why? We want to try and find out where could this go further down, right? And want to see what sort of levels we have. So you've got a full area here, but we're going to do a retracement from here. Oh wow. The retracement from there, we went all the way up and we just missed the 618. If I start turning this up here and go even higher, we can start seeing other bits of data. We actually only hit the 0382. So we could have here a bit of a nice little retracement pattern coming anyways. What this is, it's basically an ABC. So you've got an A, a B, and a C. Now, we could form any sort of area below this level if this breaks. So the next area that you're looking at is, this is a retracement. We failed. We failed to go all the way up. Now, unless this holds, or doesn't hold, for example, it's in an invalid structure. It's been gone. So the next target is actually $24 or $25 essentially. We'll say $25. So that is the next target, $25. Now, with all these and put into sorry. I want the box, please. Thank you. TP. So that is the next level. That is a bigger level. That is a more valid level when you look at previous levels of where that move was. So if BTC drops, Litecoin will probably drop with it. Now, this is the restructure of that move, taken back 61%. This is back to the start. This little nib, this little support level bounce. This could go all the way back down and rule out all this move. Easy. So I'll put some price labels on just so you can see some stuffs. Makes sense, because this is the kind of thing that you should realistically be looking at when you are looking at any sort of asset. Let me make sure I get it in the right. Hold on. It would do my head in. 24, 20. Oh, you know what? Sod it. We're going to get the old text tool out. Where the? There it is. So let's just say $25, which is basically support. Support levels. Cool. Happy days. The next one is kind of the more potential likely one, which is about $33, right? Which is a retracement. They are two obvious levels where you can look at buying, but you know what? We could actually go lower. If you start zooming out on the chart and you have to have a look and find where things are, we've actually been lower than that. We've been actually, the lowest is $22. So maybe not go that deep in terms of analysis, because we've already got analysis on here. But what we're going to do, we're going to go on to that weekly time frame. I'm going to have a little look further afield and look at where other structure has been. If I actually know, we'll look at the monthly. You start looking at monthlies, you start seeing where we have actually been. We've actually been a lot lower. We know that it's the life cycle of a coin. So that whole word is never say never, and people laugh when you hear some daft predictions. But look what happened to oil last night. We went minus $33 or whatever it was. So don't rule out any of this market structure. Now, this is one thing I want to do now. I kind of showed you it before. This retracement. As I say, if we're going to go from the top, okay, to the bottom, you already can see some elements there ranging down to $6. That is huge. That is a massive bear signal, right? But let's just change it a little bit. Let's just go from this sell signal here, from this market structure. I'm going to go top to bottom. $7.70. That is the extreme number. Okay. Now, if I put a little box on that number, just to highlight it, because why not? And what we'll do is we'll get again. Now, I apologise if this is quite boring to watch, but you know, you've got to kind of have these scenarios plotted out just in case things go wrong. They may never hit, right? They may never ever hit. If they don't hit, cool. But just in case they do hit, you know you've got it plotted out. It could happen. It could happen. Anything in cryptocurrency can happen, right? So, cool. We've got some areas there we're looking at. Now, if I go again onto the monthly time frame, and if I put my crosshair on $7, or very, very close to $7 anyway, I'll give a... What can you see if you look left? You've got body closure. You've got a wick through and a stop. You've got body closure. That's pretty damn scary. Go to the weekly time frame, right? Let's look at $7 again. Zoom in on this level. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is just to try and show you some confluence with the level. Now, again, if I put in 7, you've got here support, resistance, basically, or it showed as resistance, retest. So that level has a degree of support. There's been support there at some point. So, you know, it could possibly happen. You could even argue the better one is actually $5 because you've got resistance, resistance, resistance. So it's very, very interesting to see. However, what I will say is I believe that $7 is a bit of a stretch, in my personal opinion. I know it's a bit higher than $7, but ultimately you've got a degree of information down there. So I wouldn't just go, oh, Ash said $7. Well, yeah, it's possible, like anything in cryptocurrency, it's possible. I do need to neaten this chart because it looks a complete and utter mess. Anyways, so that is how to do the extreme bear scenarios. Now, if you're looking at the bullish scenarios, you've got to look at where things could go. If you start looking at the weekly time frames and start looking at the cycles, again, of where things have been. If you start thinking, right, where have we been? Look at this. In terms of this, we almost failed. Well, we failed, basically, 156. That was my target for halving. Nearly got there. Okay, I've got some decent profits on that. But when you look at this structure here, and you're looking at this as a potential, you know, area, it wouldn't shock me at all to see this bounce at some point in and around this $23 mark, which is where I feel that the area is 25 to 23 levels is probably going to be the more likelihood where we will be. So remember that. But in terms of looking at where this could retrace up to, and if it does form those nice higher highs and we break through this and we break through this, and obviously this is now forming a pretty strong trend, if you could probably argue. You'd probably argue, well, maybe not from there. You could probably argue from there, to be fair. It's a pretty strongish trend, that. So it looks like this could explode at some point. It could explode at some point, but I think there's more lows to come. Okay, sorry, quick glance again. It's even higher. Anyways, so it's definitely a potential trend there, because you can see where the peaks are. But when you zoom in a little bit and you're looking at this overall structure, this whole area is retraced. Okay, we've retraced quite a lot. Right, we've obviously bounced a little bit at some point. We know where this is bounced. We know where the potential bounce points are. But if this does hold, now you've got to remember, this structure is still valid until we break below $23 or whatever it works out as. Maybe a bit less than that. Let me just get there. $22. So very, very interesting to see where we could go. So what could this mean is, well, if we do take off and we do form a lower low and we do reset, this overall move needs to be retraced. Okay, we've obviously retraced. Cool, where can we go? Well, we don't know where we can go, but we've got an idea of what could happen if we start breaking out. We could know that a potential area is confluence between this level here, the 618 up at the top at 122, which is in level with this, and then you've got this whole structure here, which is perfect confluence with these body closures and wicks going through it on the weekly time frame. So, will it work though? Well, you gotta walk before you can crawl. So they are definitely long-term areas where you can just go, you know what, we could go up here, okay? But I want to show you a little trick first to kind of give you a bit of an insight of why this is probably a bit too far away to just look at as a potential area. Because we've still got this structure here. It actually failed. So we need to wait and see what happens. We need to wait and see where this actually does turn around from. If it starts forming higher highs, cool. The structure is still valid. It will retrace this move first. But you got to look at this move as well. This is a starting structure. You know, if you're looking at a potential area first, you've got these areas up here. So you got to try and remember, you got to think long term at the same time, but don't think too far ahead, because ultimately you got this massive move. We retrace a bit of it. You've got a long way to go. There's a long way to go, and structure needs to be broken at some point, but they only give you little estimates of where things could go. So rule of thumb would be, in my opinion, try and see if we can break above this level. Now, if this does retrace, for example here, go down to this bottom level here. If we do break up and we start forming higher highs and we retrace this whole area, that second structure, that bigger one, will then become valid. And then you can start thinking, well, actually, once that becomes valid, we can start to go, well, actually, you know what? We've retraced the bigger move now. You know, we can carry on and we can see where we can go from here. But you've got to think long term as well. If you are buying the likes of Litecoin at these lows and we do shoot, these higher highs will have to be formed. They will have to break through this overall structure to get to where it needs to be. Okay? Once it gets to where it needs to be, it could be very interesting, because it could be quite a good scenario. But it needs to break out. It needs to break out from here. It needs to break out from here. A lot of people just go, well, we're going to go to the moon because I said so. Well, you need to kind of look at where things could go. Now, the reason why I've got this here is just quite simple. It's just like an area of where things could go. But if we are to, you know, literally retrace this entire structure, well, the only reason why these are here is just because it's Fibonacci. They mount up to significance. Likewise, I could put any point of area of where things could go based off closures on the weekly time frame. Very simple. But these obviously have confluence. You can see perfectly where these body closures are and where resistance stops. Same way here. So they have some type of not so much fabrication, but I can't think of the word. Substance. There we go. So that's today's video pretty much sorted. Okay. So if we're looking at long-term bullish scenarios, right, we are looking at up here. Okay. Once we've broken out from these structure levels, these are potential areas of ranges where it could officially land at some point, or break through, carry on going. Who knows? Lower though, this is what we're more focused on, right? We're not focused about the long-term elements. We're looking at the short-term. These are the scenarios. If I go to the daily time frame, you'll probably see it in a bit more better detail. There you go. These are the areas. You got the first one here, obviously the bottom of this level, $37. You got 33 and 25. If things get horrendous, as in properly awful, $7, which is absolutely scary. I will move that up there so it looks a bit neater. So there you go. That is today's video done. I wouldn't worry too much about the bull calls, because if you do want to enter, you need to look lower, in my opinion. Definitely look lower. Again, not financial advice. Please, obviously, take what you will with my channel with a pinch of salt. I do like to wind people up with some investment numbers. $7 is a wind-up number, so don't start digging in the comments before you watch the entire video. But it is a possibility. Anything can happen in crypto. If we go bearish for the next year, $7 in Litecoin, well, it's probably a steal long-term when the dust settles. As I say a few times, price action in these situations are temporary. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. We don't know what's going to happen in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Who knows? If you have an opportunity to buy Litecoin at anything below $20, you probably go, yes please, why not? Give it a whirl.